Yowzy. My favorite time of the week next to laying down going to sleep. Howdy. How you doing, Lily?
I'm doing great, John. How are you doing?
Oh, man, it's exciting this week. Terrible OTC market, but there's still a lot of stocks doing all kinds of stuff. And did you see the metaverse is actually being spoke about again? I mean, it's actually come out of the ashes. It's not hot. It's not hot. It's coming out of the ashes, though. I can see something in there. Let's throw
I
up
can definitely see talk on it, being that Meta took it went down so much.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know. I look at that like opportunity, John. There's a lot coming for them. They know what they're doing. They got a plan. Mark Zuckerberg's not going to lose all his money.
Look at this. I didn't have this set up, but I got my coding done. Hold on. Save.
Hey, you're driving.
I'm driving. I'm running around here. I know where it's at.
Anybody that's tuning in, I see we have a couple so far. Put your tickers in there if you want us to look them over. Just go ahead and get it in early.
I got to make this a little bit bigger. Too small for us. Anybody learning coding while I'm doing this? Basic HTML, folks. Boom. I just made the screen bigger. I didn't go through making my picture bigger. I could have, but you're going to be able to read the words. This is news from the OTC market. Last 6 days, 7 days, maybe. No financials, no public offerings. This is hot news. There's a lot of good, interesting news in here. These are all the catalysts. These are the things that you want to see headlines on. So there's reverse mergers in here, takeovers, uplistings, new distribution deals, acquisitions, all the good stuff. So take your time and read this. And if you miss it, remember, this is recorded, so you can come back and watch it later. That's good for our Google algorithm. So, yeah, do that.
Yeah, do that. But what's been going on in the OTC market, John? I mean, is it kind of flat right now? Is that what we're seeing volume-wise?
Yeah, we haven't had any real growth in the market. As a matter of fact, we were starting to get some bumping. I think in October, we had 3 days where we actually went over 10 billion, went over 13 billion shares in one day, which sounds big, but a year ago, we were doing 4 or 5 times that much. So we're way, way down. But right now, even lower than that, we're down to like 5-6 billion shares a day, under $2 billion a day. And we have not left 250 to 300,000 trades a day. And that's been months. So yeah, it's been slow. So day traders have to find their trades because the market isn't pushing anything up. The waters are not rising. You got to find the dolphins coming out of the water. That's what you're looking for. No unicorns in the water. We're looking for dolphins.
Gotcha.
And that's what I've been doing. I've been looking for stocks that have got great news, strange news. There's a lot of uplistings right now. There's a lot of mergers right now. There is a lot of activity out there, but we are still in the inflationary period. We still have supply issues out there. Businesses are popping up, but there's still not a lot of money to get them kicking around. But there's some strong days. There are some strong pushes we're getting. And I've seen a couple here that I was really impressed with, not the stock itself, the charts, but the companies. And the charts are not responding at all. As a matter of fact, they're responding negatively. And I've seen few opportunities, as far as I'm concerned, arbitrage in the investors' heads, where it should be going up. I expect it to go up, and it took a big loss. Matter of fact, that's going to be the first ticker I want to show you when we get a chance here.
Yeah. And I did see some of your news this week in the Discord. And I mean, you had some really good news out there. I can't remember the tickers, but I was like, wow, that's pretty significant. So I can't remember which one it was, but there was a couple of them you were talking about.
Yeah, I've been on the ball this week. I have really, I don't play everything I find. I don't play everything I talk about. It's amazing how many people think I do. And it's like, do you know how many stocks I cover in a month?
That would be too many. Yeah, that'd be way too many.
I got too many as it is, and that would just be too crazy. I mean, you can only watch a couple chickens at a time. Why have 100? So, all right, we're going to pull this on down. Let me just pop
Let's
over
see.
here.
We got some people that's saying hello. Hello, everybody. Thank y'all for being here. And we see your tickers. We will definitely get to
BBN
those.
Hawaii, good to see you.
Anybody else?
Georgia,
Put it in there.
hi. Yes, nice to have you folks here. So how about that? You see that, folks? That is some new technology that is coming out. They did a merger yesterday with a company. It was GEGI.
I saw that one today, John. What happened? Like a couple of days ago, this thing's moving up and then bam, it just fell.
Let me show you, folks, so you can get an idea here while we're talking. I don't think we need my volume. Can I turn the volume off?
I can hear it.
There it is.
Okay.
So this company did a merger yesterday. They're a shell company. They're not making any money. It doesn't look like a bad company. You know, it's a shell. And they did this merger with this company called Glide. And Glide is making innovative autonomous devices. All sorts, you know, transportation, robotics, whatever. And this is their first product here, the Glide. And what this does, it's not one vehicle, it's two vehicles, a back and a front. It picks up the semi-trailers with no driver, takes it down the road until it gets to a railroad, drops its track for the railroad, lifts its tires, and then goes on to the railroad and continues on its way at much higher speeds, less fuel being used. And once it gets to its destination, it comes off of the tracks and drives itself to a parking area where then drivers locally come in and pick up the semis and deliver them. So it's not like they're taking all the jobs away from the drivers. It's just doing the biggest distance where the drivers would rather be at home anyways. So it's the part of the job nobody wants to do. And they're doing it in a very unique way. Well, it was great news. I saw the news in the morning. I put it on my watch list and it fell 58%. 58% on the news. And it was like, folks, something's wrong here.
Is that when it fell? It was because of the news of the mergers when it fell, because I saw it at 0.0084 and then it dropped to 0.0033. So I was like, what happened? I thought maybe the merger failed.
Well, here was no, everything went through. And it's you can see right there was the day before the news. The news came out at the bell. No pre-market activity whatsoever by anybody. And it lost 90% in the first 5 minutes. And then it fell the rest of the day and is now just going sideways. Looks like it's even trying to go lower. So I don't get it.
Well, it must have been the buy the rumor, sell the news. Nobody was... They were anticipating it, which is what they were playing, but nobody's excited about this news. Do not care, and they're gone.
I did do some more research, and the fact is the company's been in stealth. They've been hiding this technology for 2 years. There is nothing, absolutely zip, in any language online about it. So there was no more to share than what I was able to find between the website and the news. But they say that they're going to be out in 4 to 6 months. Obviously, getting the semis off of the roads changes our lives. I don't know about you, but I hate driving with semis. It's nothing personal to any semi driver, but that's going to get a lot of these long distance trucks off of the road. It's going to save fuel by getting them, and it's all electric, regardless where they're at. It's all electric. The railroads get them completely off the roads, moves it even faster with less energy. So it's greener. It's just very unique. I thought it was unique.
It is unique.
And they've got other ideas too that they're just not publishing yet. So if anything, I think right now it's a great buy opportunity. I think on arbitrage in the investor's head, it just isn't making sense. Now, obviously, do your own due diligence. I'm not telling you to buy it. I'm saying, in my opinion, that's what it looks like. I see great technology that they're not trying to devise. They've already devised. It's in the testing stage. They've already got one of the largest railroad companies in the world, America, to do business with, and they're hooked up with the trucking industries already. So it's just a matter of patience. And if it's a matter of 4 or 6 months down the road, and this is at 0.0032, 00, oh my God, you know, this could easily be a company that gets to the NASDAQ. But in either case, I thought it was a very interesting stock to consider this week.
Well, what I think about it, you know, since this massive drop, because this is massive, and it did have a nice uptrend. So they definitely sold the news. Is there other news that I'm not aware of? That's possible. I don't know. So
I
yes, I
didn't
would
find
encourage
anything else.
anybody to do your due diligence and watch it because you have time. Watch what it's doing right now, next few days, next few weeks. Um, so sorry, my screen just messed up. You guys, give me just a
It's
second.
okay. Yeah, I see the
Okay,
low
so the
bubble
next
here.
few days, next few weeks, if it decides to start consolidating, holding, you can watch it. You see some volume coming in, slowly kind of uplifting, and holding some support. Then you might want to decide to enter and this gives you time to do your due diligence because this could be an opportunity. It could be that just the way the market is right now, nobody's holding anything. So I would take advantage of this and look into it.
Another one I think is under the radar. Let's just put it that way. Is EULIF. I did mention
Never heard of it.
No, you wouldn't. This is a lithium mining company out of Australia who has a property in Austria, a lithium mine over there that was built by the government. And this would be the primary lithium source for Europe. And they are uplisting. I do believe I got that news right here. Yeah, the news came out just a couple of days ago, 2 days ago, that they're doing a merger to get on the NASDAQ. And they're doing this merger with Sizzle. I believe it's Sizzle Acquisitions.
Okay.
Now, I found this news before it was put in English. I saw the stock running, and I found it in some other language. Google translated it for me, and I said, oh, look at this. And then when I was doing the video, this in English, one we're looking at now, came out. I mean, literally, as I was taping, changed the whole way I had to do the video. But it was a done deal. The one in the morning said, if approved, and then this came out in the evening and said they have announced the NASDAQ listed merger with Sizzle Acquisition. And this is going to make them the only European lithium mine that has the potential of 10,500 tons, 10,500 tons a year. And they think it's a big deal. Well, it showed no love at all. It fell yesterday. It's falling today. Again,
really?
Yeah, it's a very
and that's
unique
surprising to me because lithium or any kind of mining, especially for that futuristic EV stuff, usually does pretty well. It's lower now than it's been, but it usually holds up because futuristic. Okay. So do you have a chart on it?
Bringing it up right now.
Let's look at that and see what it did.
That's our 4 hour there. She's just pretty much been hanging right here in the lower half. You can see the last 3 days have been unique. Lots of volume has come in. Let's take a look at the 10-day view. So she's just jumped up just one notch after a nice surge here, which was 2 days ago, which may have been on that news. She jumped here from about
that's a pretty good move.
About 6 cents to 19 cents.
Yes.
But if you go back 3 days, she was at 4 cents, which is a nice run. But now we're right back down to 6 cents. But the deal hasn't happened yet. There's nothing changed. There's nothing going on. But again, right now, this is what happens. Even on good news, you get spikes. And then it comes back.
Well, this is the time. It's absolutely right, John. You're bringing it up at a perfect time because it does spike. And usually, it's holding right here at this 6 where it started at pretty much. And if it's not seeming to give that back and it's holding and consolidating, we've got more news to come. So this is where you want to seriously look at it.
So just another one you may want to keep your eye on. As I said, there's been a lot of mergers, a lot of acquisitions. As a matter of fact, since I'm talking about this, folks, I post in a lot of places, lots of Facebook pages, our Discord group, but I like to go to the biggest crowds because that's where I'm going to get the most attention. So Twitter is where I do a lot of posting, and I use my name, just John Zidar. There's no Stocks Wizard or anything. And that picture is the last time I shaved. That's the last time I cut my hair, just about. So that's what I look like without all this.
I was going to ask you who that guy was.
That's me. Who's that guy?
I'm kidding.
Anyways, anything I think has the potential to move a stock, I like to post over here at Twitter. It could be stock going bankrupt, new technology. One of my pet favorites is these tier changes. I post this every single morning. It comes up on the OTC market. This is a short list of potential runners that can go hundreds of thousands of percent that day. And you're going to get this before the market opens, tier changes. There's only about 20, give or take, each day that come out. These are ones that move up or down on the tiers, the ladder of success on the OTC. And you only want the ones going up. So that's going to eliminate half of them. So you got about 10 you're going to look at every day. Stocks coming off the expert market, the dead zone, the coma back on the open market. These pop. Folks, I'm telling you, these run tens of thousands of percent. I'm not saying they all do, but that's where those kind of runners come from, the grave walkers. Then you got Pink Limited to Pink. There's a lot of people that are just happy to see their stock come out of the danger zone because Pink Limited is the first step down to expert. Nobody likes that stuff. So this list is here every day before the bell. Put it on your watch list. You see some volume start pouring into something. Ta-da! You were there waiting for it. So I post all this information over here, all kinds of stuff, my videos. So if you want to keep up with what's going through my head through the day, this is where I'm tossing it. But if you want to talk to me through the day, come on over to the Discord group. We don't have a lot of people over there talking. I don't know if OTC marketers don't like to chat as much as NASDAQ. Boy, there's some chatters, but I do like to chat. I like to talk. And every now and then we can actually talk audibly, or we can just leave messages. What you watching? Where you think we should get in? Now, I don't like to tell anybody where to get in, but I'll give you my opinion where it looks good and looks bad. All right. Let me see what other stock. This one just went bankrupt. It came up 2 days ago, came down.
Hold up. So ALF just dropped to the OTC.
This is,
I know it's called ALFI, but the ticker is ALF, isn't it?
ALFI.
It does have an I?
Yeah.
Let me check. Let me make sure we're talking about the same one.
Yeah, this company just went bankrupt, or at least they filed for bankruptcy. They were on the NASDAQ on the 25th.
Oh, no, it's the same company. Yes, you're right. It's ALFI. Oh, my gosh. Wow. John, they just IPO'd like last year, I think.
This is why we have Lily here. She knows things. No, I love it. So now that it's down here, what happens when new bankruptcies tumble down off of the major markets onto the OTC? Piranha. We just jump all over it down here. I know it's bad news. They're going bankrupt. Now, I don't know. I don't think ALF has any branding, not that I'm aware of. I don't know how much money that they were making. If they're cash cow, no, they're not a cash cow. So, bankruptcies, I can understand if you think, well, it's going to come back. I should buy some while it's cheap. But the day after they announce bankruptcy and tumble out of their throne, that's when you want to invest in them? I don't know, but it happens every time. Every time they come down to the OTC market, we push that price up. And there you go, 74%. So this is something you learn, is the mentality of the investors you're playing with every day. It's different. NASDAQ down here to the OTC. Got to remember, the one thing on the OTC, you're dealing mostly with people, mostly. What I mean by that is the major exchanges have a lot of AIs that trade for them. I'm not kidding you, folks. Your real competitors are machines that know you better than you know yourself. That's where your bull traps and your bear traps come in.
They're going to make money.
They know how to break us, where our breaking points are, and they'll push it. We're down in the OTC market. You got to think the way people think, and people, that's one thing I like about the OTC market. The SMAs, you don't get a lot of bear traps on the SMAs on the OTC because we all bounce where we're supposed to bounce. We don't push it underneath trying to trick people. No, we're playing the game fair. So I do
trying to shake them out.
Yeah. So this is a fresh bankruptcy that's come down here. I know I'm showing you a lot of negative stocks right now, but these are stocks that could give you big returns because they're in low places. They just don't belong. So they just entered bankruptcy, don't know anything about the company, just bringing it to your attention.
All I know is it's advertising. They were advertising. I want to say there was some type of tablet or something like the things that you see in the back of cabs and Ubers. They were trying to get it in Ubers and Lyfts, these tablets that would be advertising
Oh,
to the
yeah.
people
I
that
don't know.
ride. That's ALF.
I don't think I covered that. Right. I did all. See, I look at a lot of that I want to talk about, and I just don't have enough time sometimes to talk about the ones I want. And ALF does have that smart tablet for
Yep.
paying for things, as
Yep.
well as targeted advertising.
Yeah,
And
I
they
think it's
want
like
to
an AI advertising. So
yeah.
they kind of they know you. They know who you are
And
somehow.
they can
Maybe
put
it's
them
your
anywhere
phone
in the
or
backs of these share
yes.
rides at
Yes.
tables, at restaurants. I mean,
Yes.
heck, men may find them at the urinals in the bathroom.
Oh
I'm not
God.
kidding. They've already got them at the gas
I mean,
station
they're at the
pump.
gas pumps.
Anywhere your eyeballs are, they've got them.
Yeah. And that's
All
the
right, I
thing,
think
like
we
there's
got a
nothing wrong
couple
with
requests
that.
here.
It's not a bad idea. Let's finish up on Alpha real quick. Not a bad idea. It's just advertising in general right now is suffering. And like Google, Meta, all these places have cut back on those kind of things because of what's happening right now with recession market, stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it kind of makes sense that they were already kind of low and on the bottom. So they're struggling. Will they make it? Is to be seen. All right.
All right, I'm going to
Got
try to
Alice
cover
on
some
the
of these stocks we got brought up here. Oh, boy,
okay.
GBN Hawaii put a whole bunch in there. Oh, boy. I know Aloha isn't a ticker. Aloha. All right, let's see what this was. Corporate governance management. I was looking at QIND from George Hughes. Thank you, Jorda. I don't see any financials. I don't see any. I see financials. I don't see any money. No revenues coming in. No new disclosures. I was seeing if there was any catalyst to get her going. We did have some news 2 days ago. They appointed a new chief executive officer, which is always that's relevant news. And depending on who it is, it can get a stock running. Normally not. But if he's got a reputation, you bring in someone from Microsoft or Exxon or somebody like that, it could do something. And then nothing since September. All right. What does this company do? I have no idea what QIN does. They are a public M&A company, merger and acquisition, focused on industrial, oil, gas, and utility sectors. All right. And they're in San Francisco, California. What sort of volume did they have today? Please. Half the volume they normally get. So they're definitely not getting any love right now. But she was up. She was up today. Anything up is better than anything down. Let's take a look at what the chart looks like.
And I don't know if Jordan was asking about like QIND. Are they doing something with ILIS? Is that what ILIS just waiting on QIND, or is it totally unrelated? I'm sorry, that was just a comment.
No, I may not have read all of that. So we have had a bump here. So what? 1, 2, 3 days, 4 days ago, something did happen, and we may find that information over with ILIS. Let's go check ILIS. I like ILIS. I know ILIS was just in the
I know
news.
they have so many acquisitions. That's why I was asking.
Yeah, ILIS, I think, was ready to do their spin out, their uplist of their one subsidiary. Let me see what we got here. ILIS announces filing of 1012. So the 1012G is a form that you use strictly for the NASDAQ or the New York Stock Exchange, a major exchange. The 1012B is the one you use for the OTC market. So this is telling us that they are serious now. They're putting in the paperwork to get their subsidiary up onto the NASDAQ, which means the spin out is probably any time now. I don't know when, but any time. Confirmed share lockup opportunity. Was that
That's interesting?
Your shares in there, they give you some sort of interest or some perk?
It's possible.
I've noticed that some companies are doing that now. Places to put your shares so that
they want you to hold.
Yeah, don't they though? Don't they though? Let's see if there's anything else here. I didn't see any real information there except that they had filed that and all the financials that go with it. That's really what it's all about. Share lockup, list, assist with uplist and associated. That was just at the end of the month, and I think we probably looked at that. Can't remember which of their subsidiaries it was that they were uplisting. Emergency
They do have a lot going on.
They do. I don't see anything there talking about QIND. I do see the 1012G there, 1213.
There it is. ILIS acquired over 50% of QIND earlier this year. So that's what one of the members that's watching told Tadaya. They acquired 50%. So I guess they just have a stake in QIND. So I guess they were just asking about QIND as well.
I see.
Good to know. Thank you.
And ILIS, just for the record, even though I'm not holding it, which is a little ironic, it is one of my favorite companies on the OTC because it just works so hard coming out of the expert market, back up to the pink, getting itself a deal in a very unique sector. It doesn't have a whole lot of competition in what it does. Fighting fires, training to fight fires, selling equipment to fight fires, outfitting buildings with sprinkler systems and all that stuff. It's something that's never going to go out of style, sorry to say. It'll always be around fire. So they've done so well. Karen Currier has done a good job with this company. They've gone international, and they, as Lily said, they just keep acquiring things.
Yeah, they have so much going for them. Yeah. So I mean, I do like ILIS.
Fire is us. That's their new name. Fire is us, not IL us.
Yeah, the pictures international. That's definitely got to change.
Let's take a look at ILIS's chart. We didn't look at that one, and that really is the parent company here. They're the one that's going to get all the. But I'm glad to see that they've got another company on the market. ILIS isn't doing a whole heck of a lot, is she? That's her last 10 days. I mean, she's barely got an uptrend.
Very minimum uptrend.
But she's crossing the, I mean, she's steady. That's all I can say is she is steady, working her way up slowly, nothing to get excited about or get fearful about. She's crossed her 200.
To be honest, I'd rather see this than see the spikes and the ups and downs. I'd rather see more stability like this.
Yeah, there's a couple stocks out there right now that are really bouncing around. Like one that we could talk about is Latin Airlines. It's bouncing around, and they've got an announcement coming out on November 3rd that they are exiting their 3-year bankruptcy. And they've got $8 billion infusion, $10 billion in assets with $6 billion liabilities.
That's good.
80% of their business is already going. They just made a deal with Delta for interconnecting. They've got another deal they're making with some Brazilian company, interconnecting so that they can get to other countries. I mean, and they did $42 billion last year when they were in the midst of their bankruptcy, and they're coming out of it. And this thing is volatile, but climbing nowhere.
Yeah, maybe some manipulation. Either way, all of that is fantastic news. Everything you just said. And what they're doing, and they're still making revenues even while they're in bankruptcy. They have plenty of assets, and if they're coming out, that's huge. Huge.
I think it's huge. If you look, they were at $12 when they fell, when the news came out, and an $8 billion infusion, new contracts, new companies doing business with. It's all fantastic, and they're on the OTC. So to get back to the NASDAQ, which is, where they want to go, they're going to go there, right? Do you have any doubt?
No, they'll get back there.
And that's $3. Well, we're down here at what? 40 cents, 50 cents, something like that.
I need to look at their share structure, John, to see if they might try to do things quicker and try to do a reverse split to make that happen, because I'm not interested if it's anything like that. But if they're trying to do it organically and their share structure looks good, we don't see any offerings that's somewhere in the filings for a reverse split or something like that, that would be amazing.
Okay, if I remember correctly, because I talked about this, if I'm seeing it right in my mind, I think it was 74 million is their float. I mean, 74 million is their, because I think we mentioned that if they
not terrible,
they'd have to do a 1 in 10, which would make that float 7.5 million. I mean, whoa, to have a company like this with a float of 7.5 million, that would be luscious. But I don't want to go through a reverse split. I've gone through them. Thank you very much. But in saying that, this would be one of the exceptions. This would probably be a company that did a reverse split and grew. Because it's been branded. It's a money maker. I mean, $42 billion in the midst of bankruptcy. That was a bad year. So I like this. I'm building up a position on it right now, and I'm not getting out early like I did on Hertz. I ain't doing it this time. I'm gonna let this grow. I did. I got out of Hertz way
Well,
too
it might
early.
go a little slower than Hertz because Hertz, when all that happened to be in a crazy market. So,
Oh, and they were
but
done in I think just
yeah,
about a year and
yep,
3 months.
yep.
All right, let's see what others ones. All right, let's get up to GB. He's got a bunch of them here.
Uh,
Seems like we look at the same one over and over again. We are just checking in on our pets, aren't we, folks? We're just checking in on our pets. All right, let's see what we got for INTK. I know I'm familiar with this one. Industrial nanotech.
yeah,
We just looked
we've
at this one
definitely
with the
seen
hot
that
paint,
one.
the talking paint. I don't think they've got
Yeah,
anything new because I post the news every day. I go through this stuff. We had news to be featured speaker at the storage tank seminar. Obviously, a good place to put their talking paint. What we mean by talking paint, folks, is paint that changes colors when it gets hot. So you can use it as a warning. Don't go through this door. The fire's on the other side, like in a hotel, or maybe on your pipes when it's getting thin and the heat's coming through and may burst, that sort of thing. But they've got other products too with their nanotechnology. So they've got other things. They've got their paint in Lowe's. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. You know, that's a great place to have your products. And they were up today. I don't see any new news. Anything important in a filing, maybe? No, they don't put out filings very often. So I don't see anything going on with them. I would expect if they've got gains, they're probably doing like most of the stocks are right now and going sideways with a slight dip one way or the other. Let's get rid of half of Ilis's ticker. We don't like it. Oh, yeah. Slowly falling. I mean, the companies, what was it? I don't think we checked their financials. What sort of money are they making? All right. So they've had better times, but they didn't have better products back then. So they're doing about $500,000. We know it's millions. You got to take those 3 zeros, and they're keeping most of the money. These last 2 quarters, things are picking up. You know, we did about 100,000. Oh, wait a minute, folks. That's all 2018. Where's our, what the heck? No, none of those financials count. That's a bit surprising. Quarterly report. Why don't they put them over there? Let's get a quick glance here. What? Wow. Not a lot of information here. They make it look like they're a shell company. And I know they're not. I'm having a hard time finding financials. I'd have to go bouncing around here to find some information.
yeah,
Because
they're verified right there. You would think you would see better information right here.
yeah,
So that's kind of surprising.
A bit disappointed that I can't see, because that's an important factor, is their financials. Market cap is real low. It's only at about 19 million. They got a ton of shares authorized and a ton of shares in the float, almost 2 billion. And we already took that glance. She is falling right now. I'm presuming if they got products in Lowe's, they're making money. Obviously, we're just not getting that information right now. But I like their products. I've looked at this company quite a few times. They're out there. They're doing something. They're here in America. Market just hasn't got a love for this right now. So if you're holding it, well, you know, take advantage of these low prices. If you're way below where you bought it, you'd be, if the company's doing business, if you think, you know, if you're scratching your head going, why think, really feel that, then this is a buying opportunity. Average down when it keeps falling. Find those plateaus where it's consolidating and may come back up, and grab a little bit more there. It may dip. Wait for it to start consolidating again and pick up a little more there. Don't pass by low prices because you're upset it's falling. That's the best chance you're going to get to recoup on losses, is to average your price down. Do you agree, Lily?
Yeah, I do. But I also want to urge anybody that's in this play or is up higher thinking about averaging down. I want to urge you to check their filings. You need to see those financials, and they're not updated right there on the OTC markets. So this whole move, because it's not the first time we've heard about INTK, this whole move that it's recently had in the past, month and a half, could have all been hype. You would not believe what Twitter and Facebook and TikTok can do. So it could have all just been hype, you guys. So make sure you're seeing something that's significant for this company financial wise, because that's the thing. If it's falling, it's going to continue to fall if they're not proving themselves. That's a problem, and investors are not going to stay.
We got a question here, and I just happen to have it up. We've been talking about stocks from the past. This is a stock that ran today, folks. Yeah, let's look at something current. This is VNUE. I guess they call it Venue. Did 123%, and we're down in the double zero. So it's a very inexpensive stock. We don't like to use the word cheap around here. They had news come out. Venue Inc. moves to acquire dominant global first market position with development deal. Plans to uplist to NASDAQ with 15 million raised. And they tell us some more information in here, and they're using big names, folks. They're putting their games that they're working with Koku. Koku's got a lot of good, strong games out there, and they're putting them on Roblox, right? And
that's what I saw.
Said, you can tell if a company has potential by the other companies that do business with them. Companies that are winning or successful aren't going to align with loser companies. They're going to get with companies they have confidence in. So I think with what did you call it? Roblox?
Roblox.
Yeah, Roblox, right. Roblox and Koku. These are two brand names out there right now. Absolutely. So I think that's a real good thing for this company. And I was happy to see the metaverse being spoken about. I know there's this little disdain right now for the metaverse, but it is so much deja vu when the internet was coming out.
Yeah, that's going to change.
This was the same mentality. What do we need it for? I can live without it. I didn't need it till now. Now none of us can live without it. I'm sorry to say.
Well, not only that, I mean, think about the internet. That's a great example, great point, John. Think about when it first came. When we could get our hands on it, maybe 96, 95, 96. You might have had a computer. You might have had a modem and some dial-up, okay? And you might have been out there making sandwiches while you were waiting for it to connect.
So use the rotary dial to get online.
I was fortunate, just a teenager, but my mom happened to be in a work position that let us have a computer. So I got to experience all of that. And whenever you went online, all you had was words. That's all you would find. You didn't see graphics. You didn't see pictures. You had just words.
Music.
And I can almost guarantee everybody's like, this is so stupid. I can just get a newspaper. I hate this. And there wasn't much information.
And there was no advertising. Any advertising was normally a scam.
So metaverse, I know it looks blocky and stupid right now, but that's exactly what the internet was in 95. So metaverse is going to be a thing. Mark Zuckerberg he's not crazy. He's lining everything up, and he has a plan for that. It's going to get finessed. Am I right, John? It will get finessed to the point that,
as far as I'm concerned, is a perfect example. Warren Buffett says, love what people hate what people love. And right now, Meta is being hated. She's not doing anything anybody wants.
It doesn't make sense to people.
So right now, Facebook under $100. I mean, obviously, it's not a penny stock. But if you only buy a couple shares and it doubles and triples in value in 2 or 3 years, well, you've probably got time to wait. Your money can grow. And Facebook, when they come out, they got $15 billion plus invested in the metaverse. They're not half stepping.
Yes.
No, they're not. And it's all secret stealth. They're not showing us anything. They're like Apple, hiding their products behind curtains. You don't get to see it till we're ready to show it. And I think when they come out, it isn't going to be a clunky Atari. It's going to be a smooth transition. And we're going to be impressed.
They also
got to remember, Facebook has got how many, a decade at least, more of information. They know how to advertise. They know how to pander to people. They know now they've learned. They're going to come out better. I think they're going to be better.
They also acquired Oculus. So they call it MetaQuest now, but that's all the 3D stuff. They're probably going to finesse that too, or make newer versions. I definitely think they have a plan when it comes to gaming, when it comes to our finances and properties within the metaverse, because that's going to be a thing too.
You know,
So
I don't think a
investing.
lot of people understand. Some people actually go into the metaverse to sit in an office to go online, and they'll go watch Netflix on their metaverse computer inside a metaverse
It
room.
could, but I
Somebody
think
who got stuck in a motel for 2 weeks would have gone crazy, but he kept going
yeah,
to different places in
yeah,
metaverse, and it actually kept him sane. So
exactly.
it's not junk, and it is going to be very popular. I think it's going to isolate us off, but when we get it
Yeah, it
wireless
will.
so that we can move around, we couldn't see what the internet was going to be in its early days. We cannot see what the metaverse is going to be in its
And
early
look
days.
at us now, John, right here on the internet.
Yeah.
I mean,
Boy,
we're
we come a
stars
long
of
way,
our own
baby.
show. So it's going to happen, you guys. Don't know what it's going to look like, but I do have faith that they know what they're doing and they're moving forward with that. So like with this company, I know we got off on Meta, so sorry. But with the company that we are just talking about, the VNUE, if they have something going on with Roblox, and Roblox is going to be a part of that too. It may be a child version or whatever, but they're already in those spaces. So
Right.
there's a lot more to come for these types of companies. Right now, market's terrible. Technology is kind of taking a huge hit. These are the things you should be looking at during this time. When everything's down like this, you should be looking at what has the potential, what has the futuristic growth.
Man, I looked at this a long time ago. I don't even want to go back. This company's obviously been around a while. I'm on a 3-year chart, and I left a line up here from way back before 3 years. Wow. All right. Let's see our 4-hour chart. We were at a high here of just under a penny and a half, and right now we are at a half a penny. And she's had a huge jump that stands out like a weed in a perfect lawn.
Crazy spike.
I mean, let's see. We had to go all the way back to 5 months. 5 months ago, we hit a high back like that. So she's had a huge move on this news. People are excited about it. And I don't know if it's about the company or it's about the metaverse. It's probably about the uplist. A lot of uplistings right now. People are like that. Did we check what the share count was on this? I don't think we did.
I don't think so.
Yo, we could have not.
A lot.
Yes, 1.2 billion, which, you know, folks, when a stock moves 123%, you really don't care how many shares there are. But if you get into it and they do need money, a reverse split is just screaming with that sort of number. They've got so much room to wiggle that you could end up with a 1 in 3,000 reverse split. And it's like, oh, where'd all my shares go?
You think that without the volume, you're not going to keep this moving like this. So this is a perfect example of if you think something else is going on here, waiting for that pullback. And
it looks like it was just today, only today that we
look at that. That's crazy movement.
Let's see on the 5-day, 5-minute. Yeah, absolutely nothing going on here. There was a little bit of trend building up here, but it just could have been a warm day, you know, nothing special. Maybe nobody knew anything, but today she went up and she's held her gain. So people do like this news. I expect even worse now. I expect it to fall 50%. I expect to be losing half of it. People want their profit. And what we just saw there, all these people, let me see. I got to pull this up to get my tools. I want to draw a line right here at the top. All these people underneath here have been holding at a loss. As soon as they bought, it fell further and further. All these people are tempted, if not anxious, to get out. So we expect them to sell, and that's 4 months of buyers. So this could have dropped a heck of a lot more, but it didn't. It held up here. So the people who were in it didn't abandon. They didn't get out. They say, hey, this does look good. I like the sound of this. I think I'll hang around.
Yeah. It depends on the news. The thing is, if it takes for a while, you know, 3 more days, 3 more weeks, people get anxious and they will start letting go of it.
Right.
It will dip. And with that kind of float, it'll be hard to hold it up. You're going to need to see that volume just about every day to hold it up. So just keep an eye on it if you're interested.
Yeah, with these sort of stocks in this sort of market, it is catalyst driven. Companies need to be using their Twitter accounts, their Facebook accounts, putting out press releases. They got to keep feeding the investor, or the investor will go somewhere else where he feels fed. So this is good. I'm happy to see that the investors, that's the way I read this, the Braille. I think that the investors that could have sold, all these people, they didn't. They're hanging around because uplistings are always good. We know that that's where the money's at, up on the major exchanges. The chance of this rising faster is if it gets up higher. So they may be hanging around for that. But with that float, make sure that they get up there without a reverse split. All right, we got Signor Pops. Senor Pops, I like that.
Oh, I just put up one. I'm so sorry. I was
No,
putting
you
up
go ahead. What did you have? I missed it.
XCPL. Looks like red hot dollars that I asked about XCPL. And I'm
Red
not familiar with that. Yeah, I'm not familiar with that name. So I think that might be a new person. Love the name.
Yeah, he showed up and had some good comments on YouTube. I appreciate that. I do answer all my comments, folks, unless, of course, you've got multiple comments. I don't answer every one of them, but thank you. I did get into this one. This one had some good momentum, and it's had news. You can see my charts here. I've been playing it, watching things go along. Let's see here. We're on the 5-minute chart. Let's come back 4 hours. So this is when we originally looked at it, and I think she had about 100% jump back here. This is like about 0.007 up to 2.5 cents. That's like 3.5.
That's
350% gains here. Threw it all away and has been down here. Oh, right. Had another bounce here, and look at all this volume coming in.
Look at the volume. Yeah, the volume here is way more significant. Look at that.
Yeah, we've had a lot of volume coming in here. I'm going to get rid of all these lines so we can see this clear. Now, I got into this a little bit, I think right about here is when I got in. And this company has had lots of interesting news. It's not big news, but it's been good. XCPL, exceptional. I did do a video on this. Market cap is real small, 3.2 million. Now, remember, folks, people like to use the market cap to compare one company to another company, say the sizes. Market cap is nothing but the price times the share count. Well, if they've got 1 billion shares and we have a real small share count, of course their market cap is up higher. They got a ton of shares. So it's not the best way to look at companies. It's just one way. We got about 372 million shares, which average, I guess. Financials, they're making some. Oh, right. Look what they were doing, folks. They were doing 8 million, 9 million, 6 million over the last 3 years. But look at the profit margin fell from 1.7 down to 200,000. And then this last year, where'd all the money go?
Yeah, it doesn't look so good.
1/10. And then quarterly, I think it even got worse. It got weird. That's right. Got
weird.
Yeah, 5,000 in the first quarter, $500,000. They're not paying anything for this money. So I'm not quite sure. This is a, let's see what they do. Exceptional Business Core. We are venture tech focused on development of software as a service and crypto as a service platforms. And their news. This is why I looked at, because they had, let me see. We talked about 3 of them, didn't we? Yeah, they had a Exceptional Business Services successfully completes reverse merger agreement with Sentiment Capital. And all of those bounces that you saw back here on that 4-hour chart, let me come back. All of them were about news. That's exceptional. That's sentimental. That's sentiment. All of these, every single one of them. So there's a lot of interest around this merger. Then they had a share buyback. You had a nice bounce on that. And then today, was it? Yeah, today, Exceptional Business Services announces investment into Glory Entertainment. Now, I posted this news and I went and found a picture to post with it. And they were showing all sorts of Pixel characters, Walt Disney characters, but they had, I'm guessing, Indian or Pakistan language, something like that on it as well. So I've got to presume that the company is out from the Middle East somewhere. But they made a deal with them today, and it dropped. Interesting. It dropped.
So, I don't know much about this one, John, but I have seen this one today, read up a little bit. And what I saw was that this company, even though that's kind of moving, and it's not doing it currently, it's when it was down, but they were diluting. So they were diluting shares into the float. And that's good if they weren't doing it while it was up and running, because, it's kind of like an offering and investors do not like that. But so it still seems to be doing pretty well, even though it's been diluted a little bit. And I don't know if there's more to come. I want to say they had like 18 million more shares that they could dilute. And I don't know if that's still an issue. I don't know if this is just because of hype. I'm not sure why this was moving like it was. I just wanted to mention what I saw.
Yeah, all these are factors, because our shareholder value comes from the how many shares there are and of those shares. And what management does with them is everything. I mean, that's everything. He's playing with the numbers. So I see it is a pretty decent company. Gloria's Artist combines 70 million streams across multiple platforms, 4.6 million social media followers, and 60 million Spotify listeners. So it's big wherever it is. I couldn't see what country was in, but I'm surprised to see they fell today. But they have had a couple of days of rising already.
Or it could be because you see the trend from before. You see how it spiked up before. Maybe not as much volume, but spiked up and come right back down. Could be the same this time. You don't know.
He has. I mean, this looks like a mini me, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's exactly it. But again, as I say over and over, let me back up because there's one more bounce, right? The first time you hear about a deal, the very first time is a huge bounce. The next time they say they're progressing on it, it's a nice bounce. Then the third time they say we're almost about ready to close it, you get a little bounce. Then they say we're done, closed it.
And then it'll sell off even lower than it ever started.
Yeah, and you go, what the heck? So it's not about the company. It's about the investors. There's a lot of psychology to investing on the OTC market, on the major exchanges, but they're different psychologies. They are different. And the OTC, you get used to the fact that the first time you hear something big, which is why GEGI surprises me. That was the first time we'd ever seen that technology. First time the companies come out with big news,
and nobody seems to be happy about it.
Yeah, so one day, maybe next week, pow, just out of nowhere, we go, but there was no news. Well, there was.
That's why I said to keep an eye on it, because if it consolidates and starts lifting up some volume coming in, keep an eye on GEGI. But yeah, that could be the same thing here, or this could be a different type of trend. Because like I said, it was diluting before, and it doesn't seem like anybody cares. I don't know what the current news is or what's going on. Like if they're acquiring, I don't know what's happening with them on this particular ticker. I don't know.
She has been following that trend pretty well through this area. You can see she's just taking a dip right now.
Yeah.
And, I'm surprised to see she's had that many days of growth. She hasn't got a lot of oomph and thrust and appeal as far as I can tell, but there's something about this company. Now, I've looked at it a little bit. I just can't remember all the details.
Twitter will probably tell you what it is.
Good for him. That's what I want to hear. I can't do all the DD, folks. I can do some glancing over and give you a general opinion, but your solid DD is much more important. If the company's making money, if they have good management, that's number one. Forget everything else. Check the management out first. If you're thinking about putting your money into a company for a longer hold, check the management out. Because on the OTC, there's a lot of scam artists, folks. Hate to say it.
I mean, they won't say that's what it is, but that's what it is.
No, but there are, and you see it in the news. We've had a couple of CEOs who've been busted for fraud and taking advantage of the investors. So you've got to look at and you say, what am I looking for? Well, he got an education. Has he spent time in school and dedicated to it? Has he been working in the sector? Does he know anything about this? Is he a founder? Is he a founder of the company? If he's got an emotional attachment to it, you can trust that dude.
That's
How much shares do they own in their own company? There's a telltale sign.
A lot of the times, John, a good thing to check into is how many other companies, because usually this is not their first one. How many other companies have they been involved with? What happened? What happened?
Right.
Why aren't they involved anymore? There's a lot of information right there.
Bankruptcies. Have they failed with other IPOs or companies? Have they had any court actions? Or do they have a criminal record?
Did they promise the moon and the next thing you know, they started diluting and then they weren't associated with the company anymore? That happens.
I think Exceptional is probably going to continue growing. Of course, she's going to have dips. She's had a nice strong run here, which is out of norm for her with volume that has come in, and the volume has been pretty steady. The deal is closing right now. And as I said, every time they talk about this merger deal with this company, there is a bounce. So the company has value. You're watching the traders, but now we're starting to get investors. When you start seeing steady climb, that's people saying, I'm going to hold my shares for a while. So we're starting to see that. We do have a dip right now. You know, any one of these plateaus in here could be where she comes down. We don't know how far. I wouldn't expect it to come down below the 200, but the market hasn't got a lot of oomph. There's just not a lot of hot air to lift a lot of balloons. So a lot of good companies are falling right now. And if you're sold on the company you like, you've done your DD, don't let a low price deter you. Let it excite you. It is an opportunity to build your investment up. Don't abandon it at a loss when you know the company's got value. Be patient.
Also, I pulled up the next one that you had originally pulled up for some Signor Pops, the DVLP. And we might be able to get to that and a couple little things because we're getting close to time.
Golden Developing. I just read some news yesterday, was it, about this company? Let's see. Let's just draw all the way back. Well, she was doing nothing, had a lot of excitement here, and has started growing. It's volatile, but it's going up the hard way. But there's some good money-making days on this stock. It would be nice to correlate where these bounces start, where the volume kicks, and see what the news is all about. See, you know, what her trends are. Looks like she's got some strong technicals. Everything looks like it wants to grow, and the volume is pretty steady right now. Come on down to a closer look. Let's look at 10 days. All right, she hit a high back here of $0.015. She came down to 1/3 of that, just over half a penny, and she is bouncing back up and is sitting pretty on the 200-day S now. Technicals are all kind of balanced right now. Doesn't show a whole lot of oomph, but our SMAs are all churning up, which is creating an updraft and can help things out for sure. Why does it help? Because everybody's looking at the same technicals I'm using. 200, 20-day, 9-day. We all use them. So when they see them coming up, they feel good. We all feel good. We put money down. That's why these work, folks. It's not an algorithm that's controlling it. We control it because we all see the same red light and stop. We see the same green light and go. That's how trading works. Signals. Let's go see what the news is because I know I saw something on her. DVLP.
Yes.
Through my mind trying to find it. My index cards are getting dirty. Let's see. Shareholder update. That was 10/16. DVLP 2020. What year is this? That's 2020. 10
that doesn't look good. There we go.
Complete second acquisition. Golden Developing completes acquisition. Acquisition. All right. Is this number one? I'm going to presume that's number one. If the second one,
if so, it looked like it happened 2 days ago.
This one happened on the 17th.
So 10 days ago, but 2 days before this other one.
Right. This is one of two parts of the first transaction. The team worked exhaustingly to get this done. And what is it that they've done? Golden Developing is an emerging fully company in the health and wellness market. We're excited to complete this first step. This new team harmonizes perfectly with the culture we bring. I don't see any names or anything. All right, let's check out
who they acquire.
Exactly. That's what I'm looking for. A who, what, or where. Back down to the right news. We are pleased to announce we've closed our second acquisition. This is 2 of 2 of the first transaction. So that means there's more to come. The two companies have been transitioned into one location. Okay. Expected revenues, 25 million. That's good to know. Let's just take a quick look, see what kind of money they're making.
Who is it?
So they can use the money. So that's good. That's real. Let's see. Who are they doing business with? We're very pleased with the past 5 days of incredible work. I'm sorry, folks. I can't tell you.
I don't see it.
It's not there. So they've had two acquisitions to complete.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. did they acquire a hospital or some kind of lab in sciences and
I don't
bioscience,
know.
or did they
I'm just
acquire
seeing,
a hot dog stand, John? We need to know these things.
all I know is there's more to come. They've got to tell us who the company is. They've done 2 transactions, and that's only the first. It was in 2 parts. So we know there's something else coming, which is a catalyst. Boy, they do know how to milk this, don't they? And they haven't even told us who it is.
I'm sure it's out there somewhere, but that's weird.
Let's see. Announcement execute for the second. Let's see if they drop a hint anywhere here. Early scalable throughout entire exception.
Pharmacy and medical industry. They don't say what or who.
No, they're
weird.
They've got news presses here, but none of them are really giving us any information. Well, see, they did talk about.
Pop said it might be next week. You get that.
Well, and you know that's not all bad because, as I said earlier, the OTC markets, especially right now, we're anorexic. We are looking for things to eat and nibble on. We're piranha. And they're putting out their news in pieces. We don't have a lot of meat, so we're going to, give it out to you as we got it. And that's good. That is a good thing. Same with TXTM. They're using their Twitter account to generate.
Oh, yeah.
They don't have a lot of news presses, but boy, they do like to tweet. And it works because investors like to be a part of what's going on. So this is good. The fact that they've got news coming out regularly is, what was their last piece came out on the 19th, the 17th, the 11th, the 10th. So you had 1, 2, 3, 4 of them this month already. That's not bad.
That's not bad.
And I'd expect another one. They got to tell us who it is and what's the next transaction. So they are on an uptrend. They are starting to push up. Well, not an uptrend, but they're bouncing off of their bubble, putting themselves into a positive place. They're a quiet spot. And that's what it looks like right now. It just looks quiet. I don't see a lot of oomph or anything. But if this company keeps doing that, throwing out tidbits, they may be able to push this up. But bottom line is we need the market sentiment to turn. Don't blame the company. If they're doing business and they're putting out information, best they can do. The rest is on us.
Signor Pops also says the CEO has interviews on Twitter. So maybe that's something we can look into before we come back next Thursday. Because, I'm sure they got something going on, but I'm not seeing it in the filings, which is really weird. John, we're pretty much at time, but if you want to cover one more, which I think would be a good one, and it's SHMP with their uplisting.
Oh, yeah.
So I've got a couple people that said it in here in the comments, and I don't blame them. Let me find the comment I want to show. This is from Chris saying, can SHMP run to $1 with uplisting?
Well, first off, I don't know if you mean before or after. After, it has to be at $3 minimum.
That's right.
Get to the NASDAQ, you got to be $3, and we would like to see that without a reverse split. Now, they said they were going to do a reverse split. They did tell us that, but that was before the merger. That was how they were going to get to the NASDAQ. Now, maybe there is some share exchange, something that's going to go on. I don't know. But they're open to a reverse split. They're open to a lot of ideas right now, but they haven't said they're going to do one. $1 before they get to the reverse split? Well, let's see here. What chart we got up? Is that it? Where are we at right now? Shrimp, 18 cents. I got into shrimp 2 years ago, and it ran to 67 cents. And I got out 3 days
and that was a very different market, too, with a lot of volume in the OTC.
But back shrimp was only a concept. Shrimp had nothing. They just had science, and they were boasting about their science.
And it was probably the best run up for them, the first one, right? The
ran
first
up 67 cents. And now they've got 2 or 3 facilities. They are sending shrimp to restaurants and stores. They are ready to uplist, and they want to build more for other areas, Nevada and Florida. They want to get some out in those areas. And I think it's going to be big. I think this is ground floor now. This is a startup company with revenues in a very essential business, healthy food. here in America. And let me tell you, folks, seafood is always questionable because most of ours comes from out of this country. And, come on, homegrown is always best. You can trust what you grow at home. So I think now is a good time to get into it. Is it going to hit $1? I don't see it why it shouldn't. I mean, you've got everything you need to see on the table unless they mention reverse split. That isn't going to help.
That's the problem. We can't say that it will. Will it happen? It's definitely going to happen because they'll reverse split if they have to. So it's going to happen. What we can't say is it going to hit $1 before that happens, before they mention that. Will it actually get to 3? I doubt they're going to wait for it to get to 3 before they uplist. I think they're planning to uplist soon. So you could probably look for a reverse split coming. And be aware and decide if you want to participate in that or not. I don't, so I'll wait till after. Totally up to you.
Now, the one thing that we know, and I don't think we're bringing this to the surface here, is that they are merging into a company already on the NASDAQ, Yada.
Oh, so they're doing like a shell or reverse merger?
Yeah, I forgot this fact. See, they never said they were uplisting. They say that they are going to let Yada keep their shares and Yada is going to change their name. They don't say they're uplisting. Never do they say that word once. They also tell us down here that Yada is going to be putting in 17.5 million shares of its common shares to the security holders of Natural Shrimp. Now, to me, that sounds like a dividend. And I've done simple math, and it comes out to about 1 share of Yada for every 60 shares you have of shrimp. But they could have it worked out a whole different way. But my point is that they are going up to the NASDAQ and it's already set up for them. They're just shuffling up there. So they shouldn't need a reverse split. They do.
Okay, that's different.
Yeah. That puts a whole different light on it. Like I said, they're open to do it if necessary for something they want to do. But as they said, they've got access to 105 million now from the Yada Trust account. They have plans where they want to build. They have backing, and now they're going to be on the NASDAQ in front of all the money. And this sort of business for America, from America, in America, is going to be very appealing to Americans. I just know that. I think a lot of these companies that got big news outside of our country, honestly, I think a lot of Americans are just investing in America. I just see a lot of that go on. Traders will trade anywhere, but investors, I think we're investing in ourselves. And that's why some of these stocks that are in other countries are big deals just aren't getting as much love.
Okay, so I'm sorry, John. Is this like a SPAC deal? Is that what's happening? A SPAC?
Yada, I do believe, is a SPAC. It is at $9.98.
Yeah, it looks like one. That's why I was asking.
Yeah, I think they're an acquisition company, which is perfect.
Okay.
And Yada.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. I just want to make sure.
It's a lot cheaper. It's a lot easier to get up onto the NASDAQ by going through a reverse merger.
Okay, well, here's the thing. Because what will happen, they will reverse merge with YOTA. John, did you get a DA on it? Like, is it a definitive agreement to do that? Like it's set in stone kind of thing? Or you don't know for sure yet?
Actually closed, or we're just in the letter of intent stage?
Yeah, I don't know if we're intent or do we have a definitive?
I think we have a definitive.
That's the difference. Okay. That makes me feel a little bit better.
A merger of agreement. Let's see if there's a closing date mentioned here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see any closing date. It looks like this is the deal.
Okay. I would check into it for sure. And I would also look at the SPAC, how YOTA is written out for their filings as well, because YOTA has a warrant. The warrant sits around 3 cents right now.
Ooh, good catch.
You see? So the thing is, maybe you don't want to hold on to shrimp. You don't know what's going to happen, or you want to anticipate. Of course, you might lose some shares. You might only get 1 for 100. Who knows? But you could get these warrants if you really believe in shrimp and what it's going to do. And we have a definitive agreement. So that is another way to play it. That might be a little bit safer, but you need to check the filings. You've got to check the filings, how the SPAC's written, what kind of warrant this is. Yep. But that's another way to play it, you guys.
Good girl. Yeah. See, I always forget to check for warrants on the NASDAQ because most OTC
stocks
don't have them.
My favorite.
Yeah,
but always. I do like the food industry, John. I think the food industry is huge when it comes to, any type of food stocks, corn, wheat, stuff like that. I guess shrimp too. We could put that in there as well.
Oh, yeah, meat.
That's right. They do well. They have a purpose, and they're not going to go out of style. People are going to buy food, and industries are going to buy that shrimp from them for their stuff. It's going to be a thing. So 3 cents on a warrant, not much risk. Now, I will say, if you don't know anything about warrants, it needs to be a whole warrant. That would be nice. But also, it needs to be, a warrant that's still active and good. It looks like it is, but I can't tell from not researching yet. But anyway, needs to be a good warrant. You need to find out the expiration date of that warrant. And you need to understand if this doesn't happen and YATA never finds anybody to merge with, the warrant is worthless. So you can lose all your money in it. So you need to know those basics and then go check in these filings.
The warrant is just a stock. You can trade it or you can hold it. And if anything goes bad, just sell. It's not like you're stuck holding it. No, you can sell it and get out. Pull that cord, no problem.
You can. But if everybody knows the warrant's going to be worthless, it'd be kind of hard to get out of it. You might find a couple of people that'll buy it because they don't know.
You will.
But so just make sure you're not sinking the farm on it. It's just another way to play shrimp or SHMP if you like it, that play. And we have a definitive agreement. So do some research on that. I'll probably look into it too. Now that we're seeing that's how they're going to merge into the NASDAQ. And we might have more information on that Thursday. I did it.
I see we had a few more people join in.
Oh, no.
Dragon from India. Nice to see a new name down there.
Yeah, I'm glad you're all here.
Thank you, folks, for showing up. We did go over a little bit, but nobody really cares, do they? We're just talking here. And we're going to talk some more next week. So stop on by.
We're trading ideas, you guys.
We'll be here waiting for you.
I'm going to drop a link for y'all. So we'll see y'all in there. Come see us. Thanks, everybody. Bye.